Hey boys and girls, Siam here. So on Monday, it was quite emotional. It was sad. I gave Timmy back to Tesla. So it came to the end of Timmy's 4-year lease and I decided to give him back. And it was sad for me because I've never had a car more than a year. Pretty much every year I change car, except I had Timmy for about 4 years. Yeah, for 4 years exactly. Did 60,000 miles of hard driving and it was awesome. He never broke down. It was fast as fridge, and had the same brake pads as new. It's crazy. So obviously I had a whole bunch of questions on this post going, why did you give it up, blah blah blah. And I guess the main reason I chopped him in is because to keep Timmy, it would have cost I think £67,500. That was the future guaranteed price it had. And then when you look on Auto Trader for an identical car, it's about 50 odd grand. So there's no point spending more for the same car and also I want another car. Now, part of this thread, it was quite interesting. I promised to make this video as a result of one of these threads. So yeah, basically, I explained how I got my car, and yeah, I guess this is for you. Yeah, so basically this video is how I got a £125,000 car for free-ish. Well, sort of. Okie dokie. So first of all, I have to explain, for those that don't know me, I think in a very different way when it comes to money and wealth generation, etc. And I guess I am a disciple to Rich Dad Poor Dad. So the book Rich Dad Poor Dad put me in, I think, the right course, on my money journey. And it was like a massive slap in the face because it teaches you everything, schools and parents didn't teach. And one of the things that stuck with me in this book was it's not verbatim, but it's something like buy toys with assets, not cash, or not debt, etc. I think it's been a while since I've read that book, but basically a lot of people get into debt to buy their fancy doodads, etc. But the key thing here with this is that you need to buy toys or doodads or whatever it may be with assets, and that way it never costs you anything. So I always look at how I can get something for free. For example, a really bad example actually, there was nowhere in East Anglia which did flotation therapy. I love floating, where you float, you chill out. It's good for your skin, good for your immune system, it's just really good. So what did I do? I set up Float Norwich. That way I can float for free. But yeah, that's a bad example because I'm actually trying to sell the business. But yeah, going back to this, I think a bit of context will help you with how I do stuff. So I'm just going to quickly share how I move my money around and how I buy stuff. So I guess up here at the top, I have my group of companies. So there's 9 limited companies in my group. Haven't spaced that very well. And what happens is the business makes what I call, it makes profits obviously, but I call the first chunk of profits first order profits. Okay, so business makes money, I reinvest it back into the business so it can make more money, right? Pretty simple. And then what happens is I then put, if we do this and then let's draw another little thing down here. Yeah, so what then happens is the business then makes second order profits. And those second order profits, I then put into my trading accounts. I've got lots of different trading accounts, different styles, strategies, etc. But then eventually those trading accounts will make profit. and I will then take some of the profit out for other stuff. So other stuff. And when I say stuff, what I mean is assets, other assets. So typically I then assets. I then use that to go and buy crypto, other businesses, etc., etc. However, every now and then I quite like to buy a toy. And so what I do is I either extract a little bit of surplus profits from my trading account if I've had a good trade, or if I do a short bit of intense trading, I then go out and buy a toy. Or if it's a chunkier toy, as in it costs more money, what I then do is try and do like a mini side project. So what I tend to do is either use some of the money that's in the business, or if there's me up here, I will then chuck in a bit of money into one of the businesses and then create some sort of marketing campaign or new product line or whatever. And then the profits from that, obviously once I get my money back, I guess the surplus profits, so let's just write surplus, I then go and buy my toy or toys or whatever it may be. That's if it's a chunkier thing. So in this particular example, what we're going to focus on is what I did over here. Okay, because in that Facebook status, if we go, I'll just read it out. Blah blah blah. Yeah, so the question was, why do you get it on, pros and cons of leasing, hire purchase, all that sort of stuff. So as I said here, for me at the time, PCP was via the business was a great choice, as it saved me a bunch of capital gains tax, etc. Sorry, not CGT, corporation tax. So I need to edit this, not CGT, because I did it via the business. There's no CGT for the business. What I meant was corporation tax. Come on, and enter. It saved me about 20. Yeah. So what happened? Let's quickly explain that bit there. So at the time when I bought Timmy, Timmy was £125,000, and I bought it through the business via a PCP. So what this means is I'm effectively renting it. But what this does is it knocks off 125 grand of profits. So profits erode. I can't think of a better word. So what that means is for that particular year, I could use the whole 125 grand value of the car to effectively wipe out 125 grand's worth of profits. So corporation tax at the time was 125,000. Sorry, 20%. So 20%. Yeah, 25 grand. So what this meant was that I saved £25,000 in CT. So that was a no-brainer. That's the reason I got it in the first place. Also, at the time, I was spending about £800 per month on petrol. So once I had Timmy, petrol then went down to zero. Well, obviously, charging it from home every now and then, it was peanuts. So for me, it made perfect sense for a PCP. But then carrying on here. However, Ellie's Tesla Model X is hire purchase, so we have basically bought that. It's like a mortgage, so you're paying it off over time. That's best for her personal circumstances back then. So, but as I say here, but ultimately, if you have the skill of reliably growing capital faster or greater than the cost of PCP or a hire purchase, then go for it. For me, it would be an absolute burning of money and opportunity cost if I plonked 125 grand up front in a car, because then I can't use that capital to go and do stuff. That's literally just parking money, and parking money is something which, it's blasphemy for me personally. But as I said, I know how to grow money faster than I guess most people in terms of ROI. So here's what I did. I can't remember the exact details, but I took 20 grand roughly. And in fact, I didn't actually put it from my own money. I took 20 grand that was lying in the business, and I created. I can't actually remember what product line it was. I think it was a mix of both. Actually, I actually did it between two different businesses. I had a new product line with the realistic trader, and I also launched the WAP at the same time, so the Wealth Action Plan. But I think for all intents and purposes, let's just maintain with the realistic trade. I had a new, I put 20 grand into marketing with that. Now, I already know what my CPA is, my cost per acquisition in terms of marketing costs. So at the time, I think for this particular new membership model level, it was about, call it £200 per month, okay? So I knew the CPA, as in it cost me in terms of Facebook marketing, etc., roughly £1,000 to get one new client. So I then lobbed 20 grand into a new marketing campaign, and that equaled, well, obviously 20 new members. And 20 new members times 200 quid, that's 4,000. My mental arithmetic is absolutely atrocious. 200 times 20 is 4 grand, yeah. So that equaled an extra £4,000 per month in revenue, and that's per month. Now, I always like to have a little bit of a buffer when I do that. So what then happened is I waited, I think, here's the thing. So once I got that £4 grand a month in revenue, by the way, these are contracted, so it's the important thing with recurring revenue businesses that you shouldn't do subscriptions, you should do payment plans. So subscriptions, people can leave willy-nilly, whereas if you do a payment plan, they're effectively buying up front but spread over 12 payments. So that's what I did here. So I knew that I had 4 grand a month coming in for at least a year, but I also know my retention back then, 2-year retention. So what I'll come on to that. So what I then did, once the 4 grand a month was coming in, I then put the order in for Timmy, as in I designed the car, etc. And there was, I think, a 4-month wait. So yeah, it was roughly a 4-month wait. And what I then did is I then just used, I did 4 grand, I literally took that extra surplus of 4 grand a month and I put it in back into that same campaign. So what happened is that I then basically had an extra 16 grand a month in revenue, in ad spend, because I was just taking that new revenue, just plonk it back in, which then meant I got another 16 customers. So 16 times 200 is an extra 3,200. And that's when I stopped that particular campaign. It was like I did some sort of offer of some sort. So by the time we finished, by the time I actually collected Timmy, the car, it was doing it was over £7,000 per month in recurring revenue. So Timmy cost me £1,250 per month in the PCP finance, and therefore I was left with this is how bad I am at maths. People think I'm a trader investor. You must be really good at maths. No. I'm just really lazy because I always have my calculator with me. 5,700. There's no maths in trading really, which suits me. So what that means is I was roughly 5-6 grand a month up, plus free Tesla, and that's why I say it was a free car. Because it really didn't cost me anything. I had some money just sat around. I used it more, and then I carried on with that campaign to a degree for a while. When you have a new marketing funnel or campaign, etc., they don't go on forever. They peter out. So what you'll have, in terms of time, down here, and then sales, is that you'll have peak in spike by the end of the campaign, etc., and then if you do another campaign, it looks like this. So then over a particular campaign, you have most of your sales by the first deadline, but if you have then second deadlines, etc., you then get a few more sales. But yeah, and so that's why I also said by fast forward, I ended up more than 5 grand a month in net up. Now I guess going back to your question, which is how do I do this, please, Siam? It's not as easy, as you can see, it's not as easy as like anyone could do that. It helps it really did help that I've got some businesses. So I have businesses already with which I can simply turn the tap on and off in terms of marketing. And so I simply picked a business or two. I actually did it for the WAP as well. And came up with a new marketing campaign and did it. Now, if you're sat there from scratch and you have no business, nothing, it's going to be a lot harder to do because you need to get a business up and running. And it is, it's hard. I'm not going to lie, it's really hard. So that's why, that is, like, here are the two things I do. Like, I only talk about what I do, as in I always put my money where my mouth is. And this is what I do. I run businesses, so that generates profits, and then surplus profits I trade. And then my trading does other stuff, and then I buy other stuff. So these are the two real spheres where I actually have any sort of weight in or credence, or it's what I personally do. And that's why I created, if you go to thewap.org, the WAP is Wealth Action Plan. This is basically everything your parents, teachers, peers, and boss and government didn't teach you, but really should have. It teaches you everything about finance, business, money, economics, investing, freaking everything. What happened in 2018 is I sat down and wrote out pretty much everything I knew because I wanted something to pass down to my kids in case something bad happened. So I wrote over 400,000 words, well over 400,000 words, which was like 8-9 books worth of content, and put them all into video format. So that's basically it. And so, shameless plug, and it is shameless because the stuff you'll learn is priceless. Just do the 30-day trial. It's £1, I think. Yeah, £1, and you'll learn absolutely shitloads. So I think, hopefully that explains it. So another thing that comes up is, what about the cost? The finance or whatever. So I can't remember. I think it was that much because I had Tesla finance, and I think it was something like 6%, or I can't remember. So people think, but you're renting a car and you're paying 6% on top of that. Yeah, but the thing is, this is irrelevant. Whatever the APR was in terms of the finance, it's irrelevant because what have I done with my money? I've made from scratch, literally from nothing, an extra £6,000 a month in revenue, which is thousands of percent ROI. So the 6% per year APR in the finance means jack shit. So and this is, I guess, another reason why I don't buy a house. This is why I'm renting, and I will rent for a long time. Simply because the opportunity cost. That's the thing that stops me from buying a house, because there's so many costs when you buy a house. You're going to spend up to 30 to 50 grand in stamp duty and fees and taxes and all that sort of stuff just to buy a house. Obviously, depends how expensive your house is. And then you're stuck there paying a mortgage, and a mortgage is simply just, you don't actually. People say, I just bought my house. You haven't bought shit. You're borrowing it from the bank for the next 35 years. And typically, broad brush, like, if you buy a £200,000 house or mortgage over a 30-year period, 35-year period, the bank will make roughly the same back. So they'll probably make about 180 grand. A rule of thumb is they'll make the same amount of money back over a 30-odd year period. So you're still renting. You are, until you're mortgage free, you are renting. So please don't fall for the ownership fallacy. You don't own anything until there is no debt on that purchase. And so for me, that's why I rent, because any capital lying around, I can grow at faster than whatever cost you may be presented with. Yeah, and the thing is with business, like, you're gonna grow it, especially if you have a handle on your marketing, etc. Like, you can do campaigns which are, thousands of percent ROI over time. And the thing I forgot to say is that I knew my 2-year retention. So out of the 20 members that we got, I knew that at minimum 10 of them would stay on for another year. So 10 of them times 200 quid a month. That's that's another £2,000 a month rolling over, so to speak. So what is the percentage ROI on that? And then of those 10, a percentage is probably going to be another 10% maybe, or 20% roll on for the third year, etc. So That's why. That's how I do shit and shizzle. Shit and shizzle? Yeah, I think this video has gone on long enough. So yeah, I guess the quick answer is do the WAP trial. Seriously, I shit you not. You're gonna learn shitloads. And that's the last shit for this video. Bye bye.